you could be a teacher and not a master, and you could be a master and not a teacher. So a teacher who is a person who possesses or has gotten access to some sort of knowledge or understanding of a certain area. That's basically, unfortunately, what is required of teachers. They are not required to be able to pass it to other people. It's sort of understood that if you study so many years something, then you stand in front of people and you just tell them about it, which is of course very wrong, because to be a teacher is an art. To be a teacher is a combination of performance and communication. To be able to perform, to be able to act, to be able to present, to put high emphasis, low emphasis, to be fascinating, to give freedom to your emotions, and to put emotions in what you say, to illustrate it. And the other thing is to be sensitive of your audience, to listen to them, to see where they are, to adopt what you say according to their mood. So I think to be a teacher is an art. A master is a person who arrives at the highest level possible. You can be a master in cutting a tomato. When you see a master cutting a tomato, this is something else. A master is doing it in a breathtaking way. He is living the full dynamic of what he is doing.
The action.
He is the dynamic. And I think it's an honor and privilege to make a master. And it doesn't really matter what he is master in. Just to be a master is such a high level.
You can get to that level through hard work?
It's a very good question. First of all, before that question, I would like to relate to something else. I think that there are masters. And I think it's not that rare. I think that we do not make enough noise about meeting a master. This is the problem. I think people lost the ability to react with awe, admiration when they meet a master. Because there is a feeling that you're either better than something, worse than something.
Drive the competition.
Who is to judge anyway? And I want to tell you an experience that I had, that we had dogs in this house, and we had several dog trainers coming in and out, and we have been to dog trainers, and you know, everyone was more professional, less professional. Actually, in fact, all of them were professional. All of them were knowledgeable, and all of them could do the job. A few days ago, a master enters the house, and that's it. It was him and everyone else. And everything he would speak, it's not that it's more exact, it's it. He is there. He is living totally what he's talking about. He knows everything. I've got actually some good examples. There is this, it's called the Dog Whisperer. It's Caesar something. There's many television series about him.
The dog whisperer, yeah?
The Dog Whisperer, yeah, it's an excellent series.
There's the baby whisperer.
Well, it started with the horse
The horse
whisperer.
whisperer, right.
And then there is the Dog Whisperer. He is great. He is really, I think everyone should see him, because the amazing thing is that there is dogs who misbehave. And when he enters the house, it's just amazing what is happening.
The effect that he has on
The dogs bow to him. it's unbelievable. He is He's
Wizard.
well, the
He
term.
puts a spell on
He
you.
puts a spell on them. I mean, to be a master is to be able to put a spell. You must have dynamic in such a way that everything actually cooperates with you. I would term a master as a person that manages to penetrate into the magical and the mystical aspect of what he's dealing with. He's beyond the scene.
It's incredible that people see that master and see what it is and say, okay, why is that? How
See, I've got a nice joke to tell about this. You know, you said people see a master and say, ah, okay, another one, yes?
Yeah.
Well, I've got a nice joke to say about this. Bear in mind that I don't know how to tell jokes. There is in New York, in Manhattan, this actor's, well, he's not an actor agent, but he's agent for all kind of performers. And he's quite old, and he saw all kind of characters coming to impress him with their thing. So every once in a while someone comes and says, please put me in your agency. He says, okay, what can you do? And then he says, what can I do? Circus act, telepath, singer, or whatever. Then a guy comes into the office, he looks and says, okay, what can you do? He says, I can fly. He says, oh really? Well, show me. He says, okay, he climbs on the table, flaps his hands, and he flies across the room, near the ceiling, 3 times. Then he lands down and he looks with great pride and expectancy at the agent. He says, well? He says, okay, what else can you do besides angel imitation? So I think this is the way a lot of people treat masters. I mean, basically it's a very cynical age. We don't have a real respect to what people do with themselves in their life. They think, well, there's no one really noble. There's no one really worth of respect. Everyone is a tricked artist. So, and if you're good at it, probably you put a lot of sweat into it. But to achieve higher level, what is higher level? Who is to judge what is higher level anyway?
Unless, of course, it deals with money and power.
It's some kind of...
Yeah, but you see, there's a great difference between the person who's got power and money and between a master. I mean, there is no confusion. If you come to a person and say he's a millionaire, he's a millionaire, he's got the money. I mean, I respect him for the money. That everyone understands. But to come and say, well, he is a master in the field of, I don't know, raising cabbage. Yes? Well, people say, okay, so he's raising cabbage, he's doing it good, so, no, he's a master. What do you mean a master? There's no master.
It sounds a bit like...
Master is a Conan artist. Everyone who says he's a master is a charlatan.
Yes. It corresponds with the communism and spirituality.
Go on.
Everyone is spiritual. Everyone is spiritual the same way.
Yeah, I agree with you. There's 2 ways you can look at it. Everyone is a master,
Yes.
or there is no master.
Yes.
Which actually is the same.
Yes.
If everyone is a master, no one is a master.
Yes. People has hard time of giving someone the credit he deserves, because then where am I?
Where am I? And he's better than me, and everyone is the same. Everyone is born the same, of course, and it doesn't matter what you do with yourself, you're the same as everyone else. And we think that we're very moral this way. No, we just make life very flat, very average, very boring. And if you have no respect for no one, for extra achievement, then nothing is of value in this life. Because if there is value in this life, there's only one thing value, is what do you do with yourself in this life? Do you use life as a commodity to get stimulation, or do you use life to work on yourself to get to a higher level of perfection? That's the only question. And if a person achieved mastery in something, that means he didn't use life as a commodity, but he worked on himself. Now, here comes the second question. Master, good. But master to grow cabbage? So I say, first of all, be a master. I don't care in what. Just be a master. Because if you work on yourself to be a master, you're in the art of alchemy. You take something which is mediocre and you take the best out of it and you are one with it. Great. Okay. Where are they? What are they?
Alchemy, when you are a master, any kind of master.
Yes.
You take the good thing out of what you take one material and you extract it.
Yeah, I know, alchemy.
But why cabbage?
No, what I'm saying is that, first of all, be a master. Doesn't matter what kind of a master. You know, it's like this saying, it's better to be a tail for the lions than to be the head of the fox. I mean, if you're a master, at least you're a lion. Doesn't matter what kind of master. So I think the first requirement of a person is be a master in something. You did something with your life. And you appreciate life much more if you are a master, because you understand that there is levels. And to take life just as you get it is to treat life as to consume life as a raw material. Now we need to do something with the life. The life as we meet it is not comprehensible. It's not workable. It's not anything you can live with. It's a raw material. Human relationship is a raw material. Conversation is a raw material. Love is a material. And to be with yourself is a material. We need to work with it, to go through a process of alchemy, so it will be possible to live. People think that it's enough that you are born. No. It's like you get potato from the ground and you eat it. In order to eat potato, you need to do something with it. You need to perfect it. Everything is like that. So a master is a person who takes a raw material and actually brings it to the highest level possible within its limits. So if you are master in one thing, then you know that everything is like that. Everything has got layers. And you know that everything is a raw material. So your whole approach towards life changes. If you're a master of cabbage, you see life everywhere. But now comes the second thing. What's the point to be a master of cabbages? If you are a master, then the greatest challenge is to be master of yourself.
Life
To
itself.
bring yourself, no, master of yourself. To bring your whole different layers to work in harmony with each other. That's mastership. If you see the conductor of an orchestra, he is a master. So a person should be a master of himself. If his emotions wants to be wild, if he's a master, not only he will not let them to be wild, he would let them freedom to the extent that he wants them to, at the time he wants them to. That's a master. And he is master of the way he thinks, the way he penetrates with the thinking. He is master of his fleshly desires. Does most people let the desires control them? Master, when he eats, he's a master in eating. He doesn't just let the food magnetize him and let his mouth attack the food like most people do, or his hand actually extend to the food. He is in control, he is a master. He knows when to extend, when to bring it to the mouth. He's doing everything with an inner intuition with inner sensitivity. That's a master of his own life. That's the highest art, of course. And there is to be a master in human conversation, in human dialogue. There's a lot of things to be master of. And you can't really say that you are alive unless you become a master in the arts of living, which are mainly how to be with yourself and how to be with other people. These are the two areas to be masters in. And then there are masters of their own selves and of human communication. They could be masters also of the hidden aspects of life. I give you one example of hidden aspect which is not so hidden. Body language. Most people, body language for them is just the body. A master of body language understands that the body is the seen part of the psychological life, the emotional life. So he's a master interpreting it. So are many, many hidden aspects of life. And there are masters and there are higher masters. The more you're dealing with the hidden aspects of life, the more you are a master. The higher you are as a master. Because there is a person who is a master in, let's say, gymnastics or dancing. But of course, mastership of body language is a higher master because it's to do with hidden aspects. The more you are a master of hidden aspects, the higher you are as a master. So I'm saying there are three realms of being a master. Of yourself, of human dealings, and of the hidden aspects of life. Whatever they are. If you are master of the three, you are master of masters. Not many reach this high level of the pyramid. Then we come back and say, okay, so you're master of masters, but can you teach it? And the rarest of them all is the masters of masters are also artists in the way of teaching it.
That's really like what I told you a few meetings ago, that the Buddha that teaches is higher than the Buddha that doesn't teach.
I'm not sure I would agree with you. The fact that you're a good teacher doesn't make you higher. What makes you higher is the level of the hidden aspects that you are mastering. That makes you higher.
Okay.
But you see, I respect masters. Any master, even master of growing cabbages. It's not necessarily to respect teachers. Teacher is a good professional.
But he can communicate with you.
Okay, so it's good he can communicate. But if we talk about what I have respect to, I don't necessarily respect teachers. Because, you see, there's a difference between being professional and being a master. Anyone can be professional. And it's true that I know you have a contradiction about it, because you say to yourself, okay, so what's the good of being such a high master if you can't communicate it and can't teach it?
Yes.
Well, we're not talking about functionality, are we? We're talking about value. You see, you need to decide from which level you approach being a master. I'm approaching it from a pure value standpoint. But then, you can come to interesting philosophical question. If you're a high master and there is no pupils to appreciate the fact that you're a master, are you a master?
Is there a value?
Is there a value if there is no one to appreciate it? Oh, that's a big philosophical question. You know what my answer will be? What do you think my answer will be?
That it's worthless.
Unfortunately, it's true. If you're a master and there's no one to say you are a master, you're not a master. In the end, communication. It's the judging factor, because everything should be communicable. If it's not communicable, it also has no value, because there isn't an ultimate criteria for value. Everything, first of all, should be communicable, should be functional. Creation is, first of all, functional.
And in a context.
And as a functional creation, it can pass through value. But value which is not transportable loses its value, because nothing is valuable by itself for itself. It's valuable in its contribution. So, it's true what I said about the master, yes, but if we look at it from a whole perspective, and not just from the perspective of value, then in the end, if you are a great master and you can't teach it, you might as well not have been a master.
Could you connect the consciousness and soul aspects of being a master?
Of course, this is the hidden aspect.
Okay.
Consciousness is the masculine ability to penetrate into unknown. The soul aspect is the feminine aspect to be able to house and to give space to inner values, inner beings, and inner essences.
I understand. So a true master
We're not
cannot be
talking
a
about a
master.
true master, sorry.
Okay.
We're talking about a high master.
High
True master, it could be a master of growing cabbages. He's a true master.
He not necessarily have a good connection with the soul or developed consciousness.
He must have a connection with the soul of cabbages. I'm serious.
Yes.
Yes.
It's
Everything has got a
fascinating
soul.
because
I mean, there is this chef, Eyal Shani. Did you ever see him? You know, it's amazing. He's got this cooking series. He's actually communicating with the soul of tomato. He's talking to the tomato. He is a master, no doubt. There are others who are extremely good professionals, which appear on television, and it's easy to confuse professionals and masters.
In order to be
so what you're saying, sorry, is that in order to be a master, you don't have to be in contact with your soul. You have to be in contact with the subject, with the object.
The soul of the subject.
With the soul of the object that you're mastering.
You see, everything has got a soul, and if you're as a master not connected to the soul of what you are mastering, then you're not really a master.
That can explain the feeling that people have when they're standing in front of a high master, that they are very much exposed because he's in connection with their souls.
I don't know about this feeling. I don't know if actually the feeling of being exposed when you are with a master is to do because he's in contact with their souls. I'm not sure about this.
So why do you feel?
Well, first of all, I don't know if people feel exposed when they're in the presence of a master. As I said before, I think they are masters and people do not have the ability to recognize masters because people are not trained and educated to give respect to personal achievements of self-perfection and self-alchemy. They are educated to give respect to external achievements in the terms of power and money and success. People basically, they have got very good recognition of success, but I don't think that they have got recognition of masters. I think that most people who meet a master, they will just see straight through him. You need to be trained to be able to recognize a master.
You need to be halfway there.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I think you need to be trained to appreciate the way people get at things, their attitude to something. You need to feel that people are authentic and honest in what they represent. The moment you have suspicion towards everyone, and you suspect that everyone is a charlatan,
It's a block.
then you do not develop out of yourself the faculty to actually relate to what is real a person, because you come a priori with the attitude that there is no value, and those who claim for value are basically charlatans. See, it's very complicated because there are many charlatans, but there are masters.
How can you distinguish between them?
Ooh, you asked me a very, very difficult question here.
Maybe a good angle to this question would be, is the point of becoming a master? If somebody becomes a master in order to serve his own ego, or...
Well, but you can't see that. See, she's asking me, how can you distinguish? And I've got actually a simple answer. See, I find difficult to answer it about master of growing cabbages. But if we talk about self-mastery, I can talk about it. And about the higher levels of mastership. Basically, authenticity. I think charlatans are presenting an image which is not them. Masters are living in their own life what they are claiming. They are who they say they are. They are what they are mastering. It's part of their blood, part of their being. It's not something you present or do. You are it. You can't otherwise. You became one with the subject of your mastership. And I think charlatans, basically, what they want is power. They are black magicians. They want to have power over other people's soul, so they can rob them from their vitality. This is what they want. They are not masters. They are evil magicians. And they use the trust and naivety of followers to rob them from the only asset they have, which is soul vitality. So a real master wants nothing from you. He doesn't use you. He's totally honest. And he teaches you only to see you progress towards mastership in what he teaches you. And if you offer him something, to bribe him or to give him something that will be his benefit, he should refuse.
I understand. He can withstand the temptation of the powers that he has because of his master.
Yeah, basically he's working for temptation.
So you're saying also...
He's not different than anyone else that lives out of personal desires, looking for stimulation, power, other people. He's exactly like everyone else, but he's using the stupidity of people to wish to believe that someone knows better than them, to rob them of what they are. And I would say that the difference between a master and a charlatan is incredible difference. Like the difference between wood and iron. But people basically want to believe in what they want to believe. I think the signs are there. I think that every charlatan from the beginning wants something from you for his own ego. It's either sex or money or power. One of these three. And usually all three together.
Yes.
I'm not saying that the charlatans didn't have good intentions in the beginning. Maybe they were on the way to become masters, but they went off track. They surrendered to their ego instead of putting the ego on one side and continue to perfect themselves until final mastery.
Once you're in the stage of final mastery, there's no need to work on yourself anymore?
Well, that's the whole definition of being a master. Being a master means that that's it. You're a polished diamond. You're a master. You master the field.
So what you're saying, that most of the charlatans just didn't went all the way? got to some
Well,
part
it's
of
not
it.
that they didn't go all the way, but they went in another way. They went on one track, and then they went in the line of ego. See, they didn't continue all the way to master what they wanted to master in, but they became a teacher before time.
It's premature teacher.
So they are teachers before becoming a master, and they still have ego in them. And instead of being a master, they've got part of the way and an ego. And the ego wants to use other people.
Can you please maybe try to explain what is a spiritual master?
רגע, לפני זה.
I said, spiritual master is the one who is dealing and mastering the hidden aspects of life. Being soul, being consciousness, levels.
Okay.
Anything which is higher than what is seen, what is measurable, it's spiritual.
I understand.
It seems to me that people, ordinary people, much prefer charlatans than masters.
You think so? Even with the damage that he is doing to them?
I think so, because it seems like that, because charlatans get ignored and masters get ignored, and charlatans have a lot of space in the society.
Okay, I think there is something in what you're saying, but I'll put it slightly in different words. I don't think people want to be led by charlatans. I think charlatans use the language that people understand. And charlatans know very well all the weaknesses and all the psychology, the fucked up psychology of people, and they play with it. When the master speaks, he doesn't speak the language of fucked up psychology, of ego, of human weakness. He gave up the knowledge in this language. And he speaks in a different language. And that's part of the problems of a real master, to communicate with people. Because you're right in that there are more chances that the person who is looking to be a master in a spiritual field or whatever will fall upon a charlatan because he understands the language of the charlatan, because the charlatan is talking on his level.
Yes.
So it's quite pessimistic what I'm saying.
But it's a miracle that there are masters that can communicate.
Are they?
You?
אל תגידי את זה. אל תגידי את זה. אני רוצה שתהיה בזה בתוך הטבע. את זה למחוק גלעד. There are very few. There are very few. Basically what I'm portraying is the difficulty to become a master. It's difficult to be master of the unknown, the unseen. It's difficult to teach a mastership. And it's difficult to find the people that will be able to get to the wavelength of what you're talking about, because they are used to different language.
So it's very rare.
I would say that from the inherent quality of what I'm talking about, it must be inherent. But you see, what is inherent is not to be a master. What is inherent is to be a master of the three highest things. Master of oneself, master of human communication, and master of the hidden aspects. And to be able to be a teacher of that. That is very rare. To be a master of other things, to be a master of floor cleaning, there are masters in it.
So that is a matter of hard work. Or no?
Not only. Hard work will make you professional. You see, to be a master in something like floor cleaning, or like dishwashing, or whatever, you need to work and work and work until you come to a point
That you're one with the...
that you push towards a different dimension. And then it happens by itself. Then you unite with the being of that you are mastering, and you're mastering it.
Like musicians and athletes and...
I think athlete is a very good example that comes to mind now. It's called to break a second wind. Is when you run and it's very difficult, and you need to force yourselves. And then at a certain point, you just fly. You become a master of running. And everything is difficult until you become a master.
Some kind of penetration to the action that you're doing.
I wrote a whole book about this, about human communication mastership, which is called The Art of Conversation. It came out in Hebrew. And I'm saying that until a certain point you talk the conversation, from a certain point on when the conversation talks from you, through you. And there's very few people who are masters in the art of communication, and I miss it very much to really listen to masters' conversation. I think it's really incredible art when you don't talk, but you're already in the second wind of talking, and things coming from you say, what the hell, where did it come from, what is this? You're actually acting as a bridge between the known and the unknown. That's a master.
Why is it so rare?
Think about it.
People are too filled with themselves, you know?
Well, basically we are all anchored in mediocrity. We are all anchored in staying with what it is and being like everyone else and not making waves and adjusting.
We're too heavy to fly.
Well, no, I'm talking about indoctrination. We are not bringing people towards mastership, but towards integration with a general consensus. We educate people to be like everyone else and not to tower above them. Instead of mastership, we educate people to success, which is a false god.
Is there a super master that is a master at everything?
Master at everything? Definitely not. I think on the contrary, I suggest to read a certain story of זה שכתב תפסן בשדה השיפון. Catcher in the Rye, the one who wrote Catcher in the Rye. It's called The Man Who Understood in Horses. And it's a lovely story. It's actually come to illustrate that you can't be a master of everything. And I will tell this story because I love this story very much. And you know this story, I think? The Man Who Loved Horses?
The Man Who Loved Horses, yes.
And you know this?
Yes, you told.
Huh?
Yes, you told it to me.
Yeah, and so I tell it right now. There is this story about a great Chinese duke who was very rich. He had many horses, many stables, and he had an old man who was the master of his horses. And the man came to the duke and he said, "Listen, I'm very old. I need to retire. I can't." And he says, "You've got 2 sons." He says, "Listen, they are good, but they can't be masters." He said, "All right, so you recommend anyone?" He says, "Yeah, there is someone living very far away. He is a real master of horses." He says, "Okay, we'll summon him." So they summoned him, and as he came, they gave him a test, and they brought a horse to him. And the 2 guys who brought the horse to him said, "Okay, what do you think about the horse?" He says, "It's very nice, black female." And they went back to the duke and they said, "You won't believe, we brought to him a brown male, and he said it's a black female." So the duke summoned his master, old master, and says, "What's going on? You brought me someone who can't even see the gender of the horse and its colors." So the old master said, Is that the level of his perfection? He is so high? He said, "What do you mean?" He said, "You don't understand. He is such a master of the high spiritual levels of horses. He can't even see the color and the gender. He's above that level." So I think this marvelous story says that definitely you can't be a master of all. how does this saying go? Master of all and jack of none? I don't know. If you're master of all, then you master nothing. If you're master of something, then you must be a poor, miserable failure in almost everything else. In many, many other things. And if you specialize in certain area, then you must be a poor disaster in other areas. There is no other way. Think about it. If you take your best intentions and energies towards one area, it must be on the expense of something else. So people that don't want to be miserable failures in one area or in many areas become average in everything.
So you're saying that you can...
You must be able to pay the price.
To accept yourself as a failure in one field.
If you want to be a master, you must accept that you will be failure in many, many other fields. Heavy. It goes against your education.
There is a price, you say, and nothing comes without a price.
Trade-off.
Okay. I think that is enough about being a master.